This is John Claiborne from the Bashful Puppet blog, and we're working on building a prairie dog puppet, and I'd like to show you what we've done so far. I actually worked ahead a little bit, and I have attached already the ears and the eyes of the puppet, and what I want to show you how to do today is how to make the ears. They turn out really nice, and I'm very pleased with the way they look, and it's really a very simple thing to do. What we do is we take I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Alright, we take a rectangular piece of the fabric, and then we fold it in half so that it's evenly in half, and then what I'm going to do is actually tuck it in a little bit, fold it toward you, and then take the corners and fold them down so you get like that, and then that is the ear. Just take that, pin it in place where you want it, sew it in using your ladder stitch, and when you get done, you're going to have this seam in the back. And all I've done on the back of mine is just sew that seam together. So once again, using the ladder stitch, sew that together. It disappears down the back, and sew it in all the way around, and you have the ears. Alright, the next thing I want to look in on is the eyes. For the eyes on the prairie dogs, all I'm using is buttons. I went into Joann Fabrics, local fabric store here in town, and bought some buttons. I don't remember exactly what size they were, but all they are is a button with a single little loop in the back that you're just supposed to sew around that. But I didn't sew mine on. I actually use a product I like to keep around, and this is 16 gauge electric fence wire. Really handy to have around. Mostly what I use 16 gauge this electric fence wire for is for the armature wire inside my puppet's hands, so I can have posable hands. What I'm going to do here is just cut off a length of it, and with this length this is just a short piece, easy to work with. Oh, on this spool there's about, I don't know, 200-300 feet. At the local farm supply store, Tractor Supply, TSC, I got this for less than $10, and I've used it on several puppets for the hands, and hardly making a dent in it. Well spent money, and what's nice about it is it bends pretty easily, but not too easy. So I mean, your hands can hold the grip that it needs to hold. Usually double it up inside the fingers so they're even stronger. But also, you can bend and bend and bend and bend and bend and bend and bend, and this stuff doesn't break. It's made to be able to be repeat bendable over and over, which is perfect for electric fences, and also for posable hands. Now, what we're going to use it for here, I pulled this red towel over here, so hopefully you can see the wire as I'm working with it. I'm just going to take and bend over a piece, a couple inches. There's no magic number to it, magic length, it's just a couple of inches, and then turn it down so that I have a nice tight U shape, if you can see that. Now this is going to be kind of a staple that I put through the eye on the back of the button, and then what I've done is I've taken this the staple that I've made and pushed it through the fabric, through the foam, inside the head. And then inside the head, exactly where I want it to be placed, and then inside the head, because it's kind of a staple, there's foam and fabric between there, I then, let's pretend that these pliers are the foam and the fabric and the button. I then inside the head simply cross the pieces and fold them. So inside the head, it's like that, holding the eye in place. So push it through straight, and then it takes a little work, but fortunately these wires don't bend too hard, and that's all that's holding each one of those eyes in place. Make sure when you're placing the eyes are the way people connect with the puppet. It looks nice and everything, but you want the audience and the people to connect. So you try to place the eyes right. Sometimes, and these are pretty good. I think I got them centered pretty well. One may be off, but shoot, people's eyes aren't exactly the same. Now, what's left, once you get both the eyes on, is the nose. And let me show you how I'm going to make the nose. I have a nose pattern here. This is going to be the shape of the nose. I fiddled around with this when I was making the first of the prairie dogs, and it came up with a shape that I liked. And really, the nose is what makes him a prairie dog. At this point, he doesn't look like he could be necessarily anything, but you add that nose there, and suddenly he goes from being an ambiguous little creature to being a prairie dog. As I look at this now, this one could even be, well, a little pointier ears, a fox even, but he's a prairie dog. But this looks pretty good, but I like to have the nose be a little more dimensional, so one layer of fabric isn't really going to be enough to satisfy me. So I've taken my pattern, and with a marker I've traced that pattern right out onto a piece of felt. You can't see it probably very well, but the pattern's on there, and what I'm going to do is layer this over the top of another piece of fabric, same size. I'll pin this, and then just using a running stitch, stitch all the way around. Well, not all the way around. Enough. I need to leave a gap so that I can then flip it right side out. I use the ladder stitch to sew up the rest of the seam, and then I will locate this on the nose of the puppet and sew it down, so that when we're done, the nose will look just like this guy. And as you can see, it's got a little more dimension, particularly when viewed from the side, than you would get with just a single layer of fabric, which I think adds to the look of the puppet. So we're coming close to the end. All that we have left is to make the arms and hands, and the orange puppet will be done. So in my workshop, which is here in my dining room, I will sew together the fabric for the nose and get it put in place so that next time when we come together we can do the hands and the arms, and this guy will be done, and I can move on to the purple prairie dog. Alright, so there we have it. And this next video we'll be doing the hands and arms, and until then, I'm John Claiborne from the Bashful Puppet. Happy puppet building.